All right, sweet friends. I'm here. It is 3:30, like I promised. And I'm just now logging on. I'm going to give it a second to load to both my Facebook and my YouTube. This is our second video for Link to Learn Day 10. And see somebody's on. The program I'm using won't let me see who's on because I'm streaming to Facebook and YouTube. So I don't know if you noticed my friends that commented this morning. I got on and commented back to you after the video was over. I really hope that Alana is on with her mom. Her mom just sent me a question, and I thought I'd answer it live. I mean, what better way to answer it, right? I think she said, her question was, what story are we referring to? Well, it is this sheet, I believe. Is it this sheet? This is today's Link to Learn packet, and it's a story retell sheet. And Miss Jennifer did not give good instructions on that. I didn't tell you what story to use. I should have said, and meant to have said, pick any story you want. So that was the instructions. There was not a story in the packet for that sheet on today's Link to Learn. I just wanted you to pick a story of your choice. And thought that'd be kind of fun, something a little different. You pick the story you do, and then give me a story retell. I just got a text. She said, okay. So I think, did I answer your question? Yay! And we did it live. We're all technology savvy. Look at us go. Don't forget, guys, any other questions you have, let me know. I'll answer them live right here, or I'll text them back. I think I have talked to maybe 8 of my kids today or their parents. That's awesome. That really makes me happy. It means it helps me know that you're working at home, that you're doing your work and you're learning. And it really excites me when I get to help you maybe figure out a technology problem or answer a question that you had. Oh, my phone's ringing. That's my husband. He's going to have to call him back in a little while when we're finished, because this is my time with you. Y'all don't tell him I said that. Oh, wait, I'm live. Y'all hear James in the background? I think he's walking back and forth. My James, wherever he's at. Wave, James. My James is doing home ec classes right now. He is sweeping and taking out the trash. Yep, he's got this. So this is what we do on our days off. And Taylor's still doing her work. She's still working on her Link to Learn. So, of course, Taylor's in high school, so that's a bit of a different story. So I promised you Fly Guy Presents Castles, and that is what we are going to read. But I also promised you that I would read any responses I got. Well, I got one response to this morning's question. Just one friend. So doesn't mean somebody else won't respond, and if anybody else does, I will read it in the morning when we get on. If anybody else responds this afternoon. But my challenge to you was to research some castles today, and my Alana, she researched castles. And her mom sent this to me in a text, which is perfectly fine. I'll get my responses anyway. I'll take them anyway you can give them to me. Seesaw, Facebook, text, email, it all works. So I'm going to share with you first what she said about castles. Ooh, I hope James didn't break the bathroom. She said, Alana wants to share what we know or learn from our castle research. First, she wants to share that she has seen a real castle in Kentucky on our way to her doctor's appointment before. The castle in Kentucky is a hotel, spa, restaurant, and a farm. And Alana, I've seen that. Isn't that the Kentucky Castle? It's awesome. And if you haven't seen it, guys, you can look it up. I think we have our comic relief in the background. James, go do something. Go clean.
Sorry for being loud.
It's okay. Go clean something. You're making my heart happy. If you haven't seen the Kentucky Castle yourself, you can look it up. It's awesome. She also said that there are several different types of castles, but one that really stuck out to her was the rectangular keep, which is also called a dungeon. Said they learned that castles were first built in Britain, and that it cost thousands of dollars to build just part of a castle. So that is all the things that Alana learned about castles. So I'm going to read to you Fly Guy Presents Castles really quickly here. And maybe you'll learn some new things about castles that you didn't already know. So, Fly Guy presents castles, brought to us by Scholastic. Here we go. A boy had a pet named Fly Guy. Fly Guy could say the boy's name, Buzz. Buzz and Fly Guy were visiting a castle. Whoa, said Buzz, this place is amazing. Yes, he said. Fly Guy wondered what it was like to live in a castle, and they headed inside to find out. Castles are fancy homes. Castles are fortresses, too. They are designed to keep those inside safe. They have defenses like drawbridges and gates to keep the enemies out. People have used forts for protection since ancient times, but the first castles of Europe were built in the 10th century France. And check this out. There are pictures. I'm going to get these close enough. A drawbridge, a castle in Spain. The gate of a castle in Ireland. Not close. I can't read that one. It's backwards. Castle St. Mary's in France. I like the captions and labels on those pictures. Most of the castles we admire today were built in Europe during the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages are also called the medieval period, and it gives us on this, I love this, it has a timeline. I'm going to hold it close so you can see the timeline of famous castles. It starts, I think I showed it to you backwards. It starts around 950, I'm hard to read. And goes up to the 1400s. Let me read those to you. It says, around 950, the first castles were built. In 1066, William the Conqueror invaded England from France and became king, and he started building the Tower of London, a large square stone fortress. Look that up. I bet there's a video of it on YouTube. 1180, Dover Castle in England, one of the first concentric castles. That means one ring of stone was built around another, so concentric, round and round. And then 1180 to the 1400s, many more castles are built. In France, they looked fancier than English castles, and they had tall towers with cone-shaped roofs. If an enemy wanted to take over an area of land, they had to take control of the castle on that land. Every part of a castle's grounds were designed to keep the enemy from getting inside. And this has labels. Let me hold it up close here because you really can't see. So it has a parapet, a low wall around the top of a tower, the gatehouse, which is the main entrance, a lookout point where guards could see from miles above, that close, the keep, which is the castle's main building, the moat, the deep, thick trench around the castle, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Is it motte, M-O-T-T-E, a tall hill? I'm going to have to look that one up when we get off. I'll have to post what that means. I don't know how to pronounce it. And then it also talks about the inner and the outer wall of a castle. It says the outer wall, the outer curtain, and the inner curtain, which is the inner wall. Pretty cool. We're learning a lot about castles. Castles were often attacked, so they had many defenses built around their walls. The drawbridge could be raised to block enemies from entering the castle. The portcullis was a heavy wooden or metal gate that was lowered to keep enemies out. Roofs were made of slate or tile to protect the castle from flaming arrows. Crenels were tooth-like gaps in the parapet. Guards could keep an eye out for attackers. Murder holes were holes in the ceiling, and guards used them to shoot arrows or pour boiling water or hot sand on their enemies' heads. Oh my gracious. An arrow loop or an arrow slit was a thin vertical slit in the castle wall, where guards could get behind and safely shoot arrows at enemies. Hold that close. See all of those. You'll hear my doggy coming through. Got his little feet click-clacking. Attackers use different weapons to try to take control of a castle. Oh, these are going to get some big. I don't know how to say all these. I'm going to do a lot of Googling when this is over. A mangonel was a catapult. It was used to throw heavy objects at castle walls. That's something, guys. Even adults sometimes have to look words up or ask someone for help, and that's okay. A trebuchet was a machine that flung objects like heavy stones, flung beehives, or animal poop up and over castle walls. They flung poop and beehives. Wow. I've learned a lot. A ballista was a cross between a giant bow and a catapult, and it was used to launch sharp, heavy darts at targets. A battering ram was a hanging tree trunk that attackers slammed into castle gates. And a siege tower was a tall wooden tower with wheels that men pushed up close to a castle so they could climb over the wall. Castle weapons. He says that could throw a lot of poop. Yuck. There's a lot of information in this book. A lot of information. Life inside the castle depended on who you were. The king and the queen ruled over everyone in the country. There was a lot of land to protect, so the king often gave land to a rich friend called a lord. And as the king's friend, the lord was allowed to build a castle to protect that land. The lord and lady lived in one of the castle's towers. Their children learned to read and write. Boys might learn to play an instrument, ride horses, fly hawks, or play chess. Girls learned to sing, sew, and help run the household. Yeah, so boys and girls didn't get to learn the same things. I'm glad we live now and I can learn to play chess and sew if I want to. Knights also lived in the castle. They worked for the ruler to defend the castle. A boy began knight training at age 7, and when he turned 21, he became a knight. Knights rode horses into battle, and they practiced their skills by jousting. 2 knights raced towards each other, carrying long wooden poles called lances, and each knight tried to knock the other off his horse. And then this picture on the next page has a full suit of armor. I'll hold it close so you can look at that and see all the parts of the suit of armor. And see the text features, how they labeled the parts of the suit of armor. Pretty cool. Servants and other workers lived in the castle too. This included kitchen workers, gardeners, blacksmiths, tailors, priests, doctors, jesters, or other entertainers. The blacksmith made horseshoes, tools, nails, and weapons. A tailor made clothing from wool or silk cloth, and a jester told jokes, played instruments, sang, juggled, and did magic tricks. So all of those people would work in the castle. Many pets lived in the castle. Cats kept I am tongue-tied today. Let's try it again. Cats kept rats and mice away. Falcons or hawks were trained to catch small animals. Pigeons sometimes carried messages to other castles. Dogs, such as beagles, were used to hunt rabbits, and horses were used for travel, battle, hunt, and farm work. And Fly Guy here at the bottom says flies lived in castles too. Most parts of the castle were crowded, shared spaces, and only the ruling family had its own rooms. The rooms smelled good because fresh herbs were hung from the walls. The castle toilet was called a garderobe. I'm going to have to look that one up too. It was a wooden or stone slab with a hole in the middle. Waste fell down a chute, and no one liked shoveling it out, but someone had to do it. This person was called the gong farmer. That is not a job I want when I grow up. I mean, somebody has to do it, but not a job I would want. The dungeon was often at the very bottom of the castle below the basement. Some dungeons were rooms in high towers, and prisoners were held there. The only way in or out of dungeon was often through a trapdoor in the floor. Celebrations were held in the castle's main room, the Great Hall. Fish from fish ponds or the moat might be served at a feast, along with beef and lamb. Wild birds would be baked into pies. Desserts included custards and fruit tarts that were usually sweetened with honey. Food was eaten off of plates made of wood or pottery that were called trenchers. Sometimes stale pieces of bread were used as trenchers as well. Everyone had a spoon and a knife, but there were no forks. Who needs forks?
Not them.
There are castles and buildings like castles all around the world, and many of them were built after the Middle Ages. The Kremlin in Russia has 5 palaces and 4 cathedrals. There's a castle in Japan known as the White Egret Castle that looks like a beautiful bird. A castle in Spain looks like the bow of the ship. There's a chateau in France that is famous for its gardens. And in India, there's a red fort named for its red sandstone walls. And all of them have names in their own language that Miss Jennifer could not pronounce. Now I have to go look that up too. Castles have inspired the work of many artists and authors. There's a castle in Germany that was inspired artist Walt Disney to build Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland Park. And did you know that Bran Castle in Romania is also called Dracula's Castle because Bram Stoker wrote Dracula in 1897. Many people saw as his inspiration. Castles today are often museums, and some are still homes for modern families. Prague Castle is the home of the Czech president. Windsor Castle is the oldest castle in the world to still have people living in it. And at Blarney Castle, visitors can kiss the Blarney Stone. There's even a castle in New York City called Belvedere Castle that is a weather station. And thanks to Alana, we learned that Kentucky has its own castle also, and it is right outside of Lexington. It was fun to learn about castles, Buzz told Fly Guy. It's even more fun to make your own. Yes, says Buzz. Buzz and Fly Guy could not wait for their next field trip. And I hope that you enjoyed our field trip to castles with Buzz and Fly Guy today. Not sure what book we're going to do in the morning, but I did promise some shout outs, and I've got permission from a few to do those in the morning. I did want to say that I was impressed with your Prodigy and Happy Numbers work today. Friends, y'all have done over 150 problems today on the 2 of those that you got right. Didn't even count the ones that you didn't and you went back and fixed. So I'm super proud of you. Keep it up. If you keep that up, we're probably going to blow our goal out of the water. Remember, our goal for Prodigy was 500 problems and Happy Numbers was 1,000. Do not forget to do a Head Sprouts episode a day if you have access. Today, I've got to help a few friends get theirs fixed and running at home. If you need my help, call me. I'll be glad to. It helps if you have the device that you're trying to log into with you. So if you're using a tablet, when you call me, have that tablet. Or if you're going to use a laptop, have that laptop. And I can maybe walk you through how to do it or send you some videos too. So I guess that's all for this evening, friends. That's the end of Link to Learn Day 10. I will not post leaderboards again till in the morning to give some of you time to work tonight. And if anybody else does any castle research and wants to share that with me, I will read that in the morning as long as I get it before, let's say, 8 o'clock, 8:30. So if you do it this evening, because I will try to get up in the morning and do our video between 8:30 and 9. That's what I've been doing lately. So friends, you have a great day. I love you more than bacon. Have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 11.